I'm going to be doing like a video on my phone and a video on Zoom. Okay, so right now I'm alone, so I'm just going to introduce the program again. So this is a live Monday through Friday from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Way to connect, because in this interesting time we're living through, we're not supposed to be in each other's company in person. So I thought that this would be a great way to have community in real time without having to worry about being in person with people. So this is the third day, and I'm just going to introduce a little bit of what I'm going to be doing here today. And maybe someone will join in time for the meditation. So we're going to start today with a meditation. I'm going to give some tips on, then we're going to say what we're thankful for today. And then I'm going to give just some general tips about your day-to-day life and how to be healthier. And then I might read more about the benefits of meditation. The meditation that I'm going to do today is a loving kindness meditation. I really like these because they help us get out of ourselves a little bit, and think about, have more compassion for other people, whether we know the people or not. And there are a lot of people around the world that could use, I'm sure, some compassion with everything that's happening. The ground rules for this live program are that we do not talk about politics, and we do not talk very specifically about the pandemic, though some of the health tips that I'm going to be giving are going to be in response to the fact that we're living through a pandemic. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020. And it is about 10:32 a.m. right now, so I'm going to get ready to start the meditation. And if someone joins while I'm giving the meditation, they'll get a portion of the meditation. But I am going to post this on Facebook. I think yesterday I was able to post it also on my Twitter account. And I have one person joining me. Okay. And I'm also looking into how to connect it to Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So right now we're going to head on to the meditation. So my one person who's joining me live, welcome. And we will get started. So I'm just going to put down this here, and I'm going to get rid of my video during the meditation. Okay. Okay, so sit comfortably and center your attention to your breath. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Again, take a deep breath in and exhale. And as you're inhaling and exhaling, try to think that you're pulling energy into yourself with the inhale, and maybe direct it towards a part of your body that might be feeling especially tense right now. And on the exhale, envision that tension is melting away. So let's do that one more time. Inhale, and just imagine that you're bringing warmth and energy to any part of your body that might need it. And as you fully exhale, just imagine that the tension is melting a little bit and releasing a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you to call to mind someone who is a neutral person in your life. This is no one that you feel any particular emotion for. It's just it could be someone that you pass in the street, or someone that you just know from, you could be your mailman, someone that you know, but that you don't have any particular emotional connection to. And I just want you to think of that person and just imagine them. And then think something along these lines of good wishes for that person. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. May you live life completely. And now imagine a light in this person's chest area where their heart is. And imagine the light growing bigger and warmer. And now I want you to imagine a close friend, someone who you have great feelings for. And I want you to imagine that person there and think happy thoughts for them as well. And imagine this light moving toward them, this warm, energizing light moving toward their heart as you wish for them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. May you live life completely. And now imagine this light now coming from this loved one or friend's heart, chest area, combined with the first person you envisioned. And now I want you to call to mind a person who might challenge you or trigger you in some way. It doesn't have to be somebody you personally know. It could be someone in the news. And I want you to imagine the light from the two first people you imagined going towards this person. As you think for this person, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. And may you live life to the fullest extent. And now imagine this light growing from this person in their heart, combining with the first two people you imagined, the neutral person and the close friend or loved one. And imagine their lights combining. And now imagine all of these lights coming toward you. And think for yourself, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. May I live life completely. And now imagine this warm light coming from your heart and combining with the light of the others as you think for all of you, may we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be free from suffering. May we live life completely. And now I want you to imagine all of the lights from all of you combining to one huge light that overlaps and encompasses all of you. And then let each of the beings slowly fall away from your mind and your imagination. And just hold this light. and imagine it healing and energizing and bringing happiness, health, freedom from suffering, to you. And take one more deep breath and exhale. Okay, I'm going to come back. Okay. Now I'm going to say, I hope that was something that was helpful for everyone. And I just want to say a couple of things that I'm grateful for today. So I'm grateful for my sister, who I spoke with just a little while ago. She works as a dental hygienist, and she's obviously not going to be working for a while, but she and I have been pretty close during our lives, and it was nice to catch up with her. We were usually too busy to catch up, and we were talking about how maybe we'll speak more now that we'll have time to do that. And that made me think about something that's going on today, where since we're all going to have to change our lives to some extent to be different than they were before, I think that there's a really good chance, I think this is definitely going to happen, that we're going to rethink the way we do things, right? So we're going to wonder about some of the habits we're in and if they make sense to do anymore. So for instance, I was on Facebook yesterday and I noticed one of my Facebook friends writing about how she couldn't, the place she gets her nails done at was closed and she wouldn't be able to get her nails done. And then a bunch of the comments were, along the lines of anywhere from, oh, that's terrible, like, what are you going to do, to, well, who cares? And it's like, are you getting your nails done for yourself? Or are you getting your nails done for the person you're showing to other people? And now that you won't be showing yourself to many other people, some of these, I don't want to call them masks, but some of these rituals that we do to make ourselves what we think as presentable to others aren't going to be as necessary and might not even be possible. And then I wonder how that'll translate once this is over. Like, will we still think some of these things that we felt were important are still important? I don't know. I'm just putting this out there as something we might our priorities may shift a little bit. And when I was talking with my sister, I was saying that I thought, we could decide that we want to speak to each other more because we like speaking to each other now that we have the time to do it. And once our lives go back to whatever the new normal is going to be, maybe we'll still want to hold on to a little of that. We also thought about this in terms of restaurants, which most of us are not going to anymore. So I wondered, my sister and I both wondered, maybe we won't go to restaurants as much anymore. Maybe we'll get together at each other's homes. So there's a bunch of different things that could happen here, depending on how long this goes on for and how we wind up thinking about the things that we were doing and change in our lives and how that makes us feel. Also along those lines, I thought that I just wanted to make a point because my sister actually mentioned this as well, and another one of my clients had brought this up as well. I think it's important to limit the amount of news we're consuming. So, because that can I remember after September 11th, My husband and I were watching news like literally 24/7, and it was horrible. I mean, once we realized what we were doing, we stopped doing it. Um, but sorry about that noise if you heard that. Um, I think that if you say, you want to get the pertinent information that we all need, but we don't necessarily need to sit there for hours listening to things that are completely out of our control that aren't bringing much positivity to us. So, like I was talking about yesterday with meditation, I think this is where meditation comes in handy, where you practice pushing things away that you don't want to think about. But if you're bombarding yourself with things you don't want to think about, that gets harder and harder to do, and you have less time in your day to actually do it. So that's just something I thought I'd share with you. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, you can either unmute yourself. I understand if you don't want to do that. You could also put a question in the chat box. I believe there's a way to chat on Zoom down below. But until I see that someone wants to ask a question, I'm going to read again from this book that I love. This was my first yoga book, one of my first yoga books when I was becoming a yoga instructor. And I want to read another one of the stories that I read yesterday about happiness. So this is called Searching for Sweetness. A man went to visit his guru, and when he arrived, he found a teacher sitting in the yard in front of a massive pile of hot chili peppers. The teacher was eating the chilies one by one. Tears of pain were running down his face, and he was sobbing, "This is terrible," over and over. When the man asked the guru why he was doing this, the teacher replied, "I am looking for the sweet one." His actions exemplified the way in which most of us spend our lives. We should know from past experience that the sweet one does not exist. But we continue to search for our happiness in external objects. However, the sum total of all the pleasures of the physical world are nothing compared to the blissful state of meditation. So this is just another example of something that I think meditation has the potential to do for everyone, which is why I talk about it so much. So I'm happy to get to share the short meditation that I do with you all when we start the program each day. And I hope that you all will continue to carry that over into your lives. As I said yesterday, I think ideally a minimum of 20 minutes per day is what we should be aiming for. But I understand that might not be possible for everyone. So 5 to 10 minutes a day is great. I mean, seriously, if you do 5 to 10 minutes of meditation every day, and you don't have to do it with anything very specific, you can sit and just pay attention to the air going in and out of your nose or in and out of your mouth, or how it feels in your chest for 5 minutes. And every time you notice that you're thinking about something else, which will be often, you just think to yourself, okay, I just caught myself, and bring yourself back to concentrating on your breath. For 5 minutes, you just sit wherever for 5 minutes doing that. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it really will make a tremendous difference in your life. So please consider it. Another thing that's really important for our general health is sleep. Now, if you're a client of mine, you know how much I talk about sleep. And if you know me personally, you know how much I talk about sleep. I was a terrible example of this for a really long time. I was one of those people who thought, Sleep is for wimps. I only need 4 hours of sleep a night. I'm mortified that I actually thought this. And the beginning of, actually the end of 2018, I came down with a terrible case of pneumonia, um, which I attribute very much to the fact that I wasn't getting enough sleep. So, yeah, I was eating really healthy, I was exercising like a crazy person, but I wasn't getting enough sleep. So it's like it didn't matter. None of all the other positive, healthy things I was doing mattered because I wasn't starting out with the foundation of getting enough sleep. So what is enough sleep? I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about this, but it depends on you. So the guidelines that I've read about are anywhere from 7 to 9 hours is what the typical adult needs. You'll know how much you need when you're actually getting a sufficient amount of sleep. I generally need somewhere around 7.5 to 8 hours, and I've been getting that for this past year, luckily. And knock wood, I've been very healthy, so I attribute that to getting enough sleep. Um, and then, okay, then as many of my clients know, how we discuss this is backing into how to get a good night's sleep. Meditation definitely helps. You can meditate yourself to sleep. And I'll talk more about that in future episodes. But I think also keeping technology out of your bedroom, especially out of arm's reach of you when you're in bed, is very important. And if you want to keep your phone, some people say they need their phone in case, there's an emergency, or they use it as their alarm clock. So, like Ariana Huffington has said, they sell alarm clocks that have nothing to do with your phone. So if that's your reason, she's pretty fierce about it. She'll say you could go spend $10 on an alarm clock. So that's not a really good excuse. Put it on the other side of your room. So put it so that you can't just roll over and grab it. And I think that, for me, I think that's sufficient. Being in another room entirely is ideal. But being so that you can't just roll over and grab it is, I think, great. That will definitely help. Cutting out any screens within, I think it's 30 minutes minimally before you go to sleep is good. So what I usually do, because I do watch television up to very close to when I go to sleep. I'm not a great example of this because I will watch television, but then I don't watch television in bed. I don't have my phone in the room with me. I'll read until I fall asleep or until I get tired enough to go to sleep. So that's kind of how I counterbalance the phone and the screens. And your water consumption, try to limit when the last time you drank water before bed to maybe, I think it's 2 hours. So if you go to bed at 10, make sure that the last drop of liquid you're consuming is no later than 8. That gives the water a chance to filter through your body and it won't wake you up. That won't be the reason you wake up in the middle of the night. Now, if you have absolutely no problem whatsoever going back to sleep, maybe it isn't that big of a deal that you get up to this from sleep to use the restroom. But a lot of us, myself included, if I wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, suddenly everything that I could possibly worry about gets ramped up to like 100 and is on my mind, making it difficult for me to fall back to sleep. So I really, really try not to have that happen and cut myself off from any water at least 2 hours before I go to sleep. And lastly on this, I'll say that you should limit your eating before sleep to 3 hours before you go to bed. So if I'm using my example of 10 o'clock, try not to eat past 7 p.m. It's just the digestive process and what you're eating also. So please try to make that not be sugar or ice cream or cookies or any processed food, because that stays in your system. and makes it difficult for you to stay asleep as it's working through your bloodstream. Um, if you get enough sleep, you're doing such a tremendous help for your immune system. And right now, I think all of us really want to make sure our immune system is at its top, like above the top level. So just doing this. Oh, and I do want to say one more thing about sleep. Sorry. Um, and this is going to be difficult for a lot of people to hear. Try really, really, really hard not to have too much alcohol at night. I know this is when most people drink, but alcohol is really, really bad for your sleeping. So I'll talk more about that in a future episode as well, but I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that because it is a huge one. I personally don't drink anymore, but when I did, I noticed that when I drank right before bed, I was getting up, I was hot, so what it does, just briefly, is it'll put you to sleep fast, but then it wakes you back up. So it's like your blood sugar level just goes through the roof once it wears off. And now you're sweaty and you can get back to sleep. So just try to limit it or cut it out completely in the evening. Cutting it out completely in general is ideal, especially for your immune system, but I understand that that's difficult for a lot of people, so I'm not gonna go there unless you want me to. Okay, so we only have a couple more minutes, so I want to, it's the last thing, let me see, do I want to read more from this book? Okay. All right, what I want to say, I'm going to read more from that book tomorrow. What I do want to say is if you have ideas, because I'm just going to run through ideas that I have about ways that we could all stay healthy. And I love the idea that we're communicating with each other and staying in this community together. So I hope as many of you as possible will continue just showing up. And I'll post this, like I said, on Facebook and my website, which is lisagsmith.com. Oh, right. And sorry, I wanted to say this. Every week, I'm going to have new connection details. So every Monday, you'll see the details for how to connect to this program that entire week. So you can connect the same way as you connected today, tomorrow, and Friday, and then look on Monday for the new connection information. It's just the way Zoom lets me set it up. Consecutive days, it lets me use the same connection, but if I skip any days, it doesn't let me do that. So that's the reason, which is why I'm trying to switch over to either YouTube Live or Facebook Live, because then I think I'll have less quirky limitations like that. Okay, but if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about, you can either email me or, if you're a client, you can mention it to me during our session. You can post it on Facebook, anywhere that you can reach me. If you want to say, hey, can you talk about this during one of your episodes? I'd be more than happy to take your suggestions because this is for all of us. So I'm just going to be talking about things that I think is important, but it's as important to me what you want to hear. So I really, really thank you for showing up and joining me. And this is so important to me because it really gives me something to feel like I'm being useful for. So I really appreciate those of you who show up and who watch later. And you're really helping me. So I really hope it's helping you. Thank you very much. Stay healthy and stay fierce. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.